All right, so in this video, we are going to solve inequalities that have two variables. Before we do that, we need a couple quick vocabulary statements. So an inequality is comparing two numbers or two values or two expressions. We're going to see the less than or greater than symbol. We could also potentially see an equal to symbol involved with our inequality. We've seen inequalities before. However, this time we're going to see inequalities that have both x and y. So our solutions, we can look at them as ordered pairs. So we could have a variety of different ordered pairs that make our inequality statement true. So what we're going to start doing today is solving inequalities for y, and then looking at a variety of different inequalities with coordinate points to see if those coordinate points are a solution. So the first thing we're going to practice is solving for y, because eventually we are going to have to graph these. So the first thing I'm going to do is subtract 3x from both sides. So I'll have negative 6y is less than or equal to negative 3x plus 12. And then I'm going to divide everybody by negative 6. But just like before, if I multiply or divide by a negative number, I have to switch the inequality sign. So I'm going to see y being greater than or equal to negative 3 over negative 6 is 1/2. That fraction will simplify. And then 12 divided by negative 6 is going to give me negative 2. So this would be the slope-intercept form of this inequality. So even though it's an inequality, I can still look at slope-intercept form, standard form, and point-slope form. So it started as a standard form, and we went to slope-intercept. We're going to do the same thing here. Solving for y, getting it into slope-intercept form. Both of these are starting in standard form and moving to slope-intercept. This one is nice and easy, nothing crazy. So this would be my slope-intercept form, just abbreviating. I'm going to do the same thing here. Move x to the other side. So I'll have negative 4y being less than or equal to 2x plus 36. Dividing by negative 4 sends off a red flag in my head because I need to switch the sign. So y is going to be greater than or equal to, simplifying my fraction of 2/4 is 1/2, and it's negative because the denominator was negative. 36 divided by negative 4 is going to leave me with negative 9. And there we go. Next one we're going to see here, we're going to look at these two examples. So there's a couple things I noticed. Y has a fraction in front of it, and I have a constant here. So personally, I would get the constants together first. So I'll have 1/2 y is greater than or equal to 8x minus 14 and 7 combined. It's going to give me negative 21. And now I have to multiply every term by 2. when my screen unfreezes. So that means 2 has to go to 21 and to 8x. This is the step right here that a lot of us have been missing. So y is going to be greater than or equal to 16x minus 42. For this one, I would distribute the 2 first because these are not evenly divisible by 2. So I'm going to have 2x plus 2 minus 5y greater than or equal to negative 13. Subtracting 2x. 2 minus 5y, greater than or equal to negative 2x minus 13. Subtracting 2. I have negative 5y greater than or equal to negative 2x minus 15, because I'm getting more negative. Dividing by negative 5. Got to switch the sign because I just divided by a negative. So y will be less than or equal to 2/5 x plus 3. One more example. I want you to pause the video here. Try this example without me. And then unpause it, come back and see how you did. I'm going to distribute first. Combining these two like terms. Now I already have 8y over here on the right, so I'm just going to leave y where it is. And then my last step, I'm dividing by 8. Everybody gets divided by 8. So I'm going to leave my inequality the way it was first, and then I'll rewrite it so you can see it with y on the left, because I know a lot of us prefer y on the left. So 12 and 8 are both divisible by 4. So I'm going to simplify this fraction of 12/8. So 12 divided by 4 leaves me with 3. 8 divided by 4 leaves me with 2. And if you don't like having y on the right, that's totally fine. You can just flip it and do everything exactly the opposite. All right, couple more. Now we're looking at a frozen screen. What we're going to do is look at a solution point, a potential solution point, and figure out if that is part of our solution or if that is not part of our solution. So 1 is x and 3 is y. So I'm going to have 4 times 1 plus 3. And I have to determine if that is in fact greater than negative 6. Well, that would be 4 plus 3, which would be 7. This is true. So our answer is yes. It is part of our solution because this statement, when I substitute x and y, is true. If this said that 7 was less than negative 6, this would be false, and I would say no. So here's another example. So I'm going to put negative 7 in for x, and I'm going to put 4 in for y. So 4 being less than or equal to 3 times negative 7 plus 6. So 3 times negative 7 gives us negative 21. and I'm adding 6 to that, so I'm going to get less negative. And now I have a statement that says 4 is less than or equal to negative 15. This is not true. This is false. So my answer would be no, this is not part of the solution because I came up with this false statement here in the end. All right, 2 more. So I'm going to substitute these in for x and y. So I'll have negative 6 times negative 3 minus 2 times 2, and I have to see if that's less than or equal to negative 36. Negative times a negative gives me a positive 18. Well, 18 minus 4 gives me 14, and that's true. So my answer for example 1 on this slide would be yes. I want you to pause the video, substitute in x and y here into this equation, see if you come up with a true statement or a false statement, and then come back and hit play and see how you did. So I'm going to have 2 times 5 plus 1 minus 5 times 6, and I have to see if that's greater than or equal to negative 13. Well, this would be 2 times 6 minus 5 times 6. Well, this would be 12 minus 30. It's not looking too good because this gives me negative 18, and this is false. So our answer would be no. And the last one I want you to try, I'm going to have you pause the video. I'm going to have you substitute in these x and y values, and I want you to see which one you come up with as a solution. And then when you think you have an answer, come back and hit play and see how you did. So this here is our answer. This one is false. Here we go. Frozen screen yet again. A, we know is automatically false by our statement. D, I know is automatically false by my statement. This one is tricky. So if I substitute this in, I'll have 7 is less than 2 times 6 minus 5. So I get 7 is less than 12 minus 5, or 7 is less than 7. Because this does not have an equals to sign in my inequality, this does not count. So 7 is not less than 7. So I cannot include that. So this does end up being false too. So C is the only one that is true for this last example.